Well, hey there, soccer fans. Welcome on to this week's episode there, Between the Posts. Ignore those bets. Those were last week's bets here on Between the Posts. So don't go racing, fighting most any of those bets there, fellas. We're back after international break. He's, of course, Matt. I'm, of course, Jason. We're fired up to talk Premier League football. What's going on there, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the league being back. It always feels so weird that weekend or 2 weekends when it's gone. It just sucks. So it's always great to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, this weekend, the mornings, the Saturday and Sunday mornings, they hit a little bit different coming off an international break when you got the Premier League back. So, all right, let's not waste any time. Let's jump back into it. Matt, last time we were in this position coming off an international break, you were scared of Liverpool because they got this dreaded 6:30 a.m. time slot. Liverpool handed business that day. I can't remember who that opponent was. I'd have to go back and rack the brain. I think it was Wolves, actually, when they coming off the international break.
Yeah.
Are you scared today in the Merseyside Derby because you still got that 6:30 a.m. time slot, and obviously it's against Everton in the Merseyside Derby? What are you thinking here?
I think I'm fine. I think that they're going to win the match, but it's hard to figure out with the international break how the flow is going to be. Like, if you were to tell me, like, do you like Liverpool and over 2.5 or Liverpool and under 4.5 or something like that? Like, that's where it gets tricky for me. Like, does this game have a lot of goals? Because we know that Everton have been pretty decent on the XG marks, and Liverpool have generally conceded. I think it really helps, though, that this one's at Anfield. And I think that Anfield will push them over the line. But it's really hard to say, Jason, like how the flow of this one's going to go. I mean, I think I could see anything. I could see a tight, normally Merseyside derbies, if you look at the history of this match, they're generally tight, low scoring affairs. And but now, I mean, look at Sean Dyche creating some XG though.
Right?
um, and Liverpool are always good, generally create a couple expected goals. So it's difficult. It's difficult. So really nothing from a betting perspective other than I do have Liverpool. I'm going to take them as one of my first legs in a two-team parlay.
Liverpool in a two-team parlay. I'll say, Matt, I've got a little less concerns this time coming off their international break because having listened to those press conferences, when we were in this scenario last time back in September, and Jurgen Klopp was one of the main managers that I heard really emphasize this, is the South America players weren't even coming back to Liverpool till like Friday. Well, we know that's a different case this time because everything ended on Tuesday. So now these guys are getting back on Wednesday. So they're not obviously getting rushed back into their club. So I'm certainly a lot less concerned about these guys getting reacclimated and, hitting the ground running this weekend with just 3 full days of being back in England, as opposed to, Jurgen Klopp mentioned there were going to be some players where he didn't even know if he was going to be able to say hi to them before he put their name in the team sheet come Saturday morning. So I'm a little bit less concerned. You mentioned some of the XG numbers. Let's certainly run through them because I'm wondering if this is going to be a both teams to score and over 2.5. Everton has the 4th best expected goals in the entire Premier League. Liverpool is behind them at only 7th best. Obviously still really good at 7th best. Liverpool matches this season, both teams to score has hit in all but one. Both teams to score and over 2.5 has hit in all but 2. And if you look at Everton's matches, 4 of the last 6 have seen both teams to score and over 2.5 hit. The ones that didn't hit, Bournemouth didn't score. Well, no kidding, Bournemouth doesn't score. And Everton didn't score against Arsenal. I'm going to get to Arsenal a little bit later on this show and talk about how good they are from the defensive. Last 3 head-to-head, though. This is where you kind of get current stats, kind of don't vibe with the recent head-to-heads because you've seen the last head-to-head. 3, both teams to score, no. And you've also seen under 2.5 in all 3 of those. I'm going to lean on more towards the season-long stats. I like Liverpool certainly better here at Anfield to get the win. And I kind of like both teams to score in over 2.5 in this fixture as well. Everton's numbers are really that great. And if you look at their expected goals versus their actual goals, that's going to balance out over time. That doesn't really stay that wonky over a long period. Look at this Merseyside Derby. Everybody's going to be fired up. Both teams scoring over 2.5 with the Liverpool win.
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, in the sense of like Liverpool last 7 matches in the league over 2.5, the last 5 on the road for Everton over 2.5. Like Everton have been pretty good on the road too. Look at this, no losses for Everton in 8 of their last 9 on the road. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a tough game. Yeah, I'll tell you, I would be on the both teams to score an over train if it wasn't, coming off this international break. I think it's just one of those where it just kind of tends me to leave it away. But yet this one is, if you're looking at stats, I mean, goals should be on the menu here.
Yeah, goals should be on the menu. I think maybe this is one where maybe you can do over 2.5, possibly in a parlay, if you're worried about maybe Everton contributing here, because over 2.5 is not all that juicy at around about minus 230. So it's a good parlay leg at around minus 230. I'm sure we'll talk about plenty of things on this show. Maybe you can find yourself a parlay leg to go along with it. Let's move over now to Bournemouth. They've got Wolves coming into town. What do you see in this one, Matt?
Tricky match. I kind of, when I looked at it, I kind of like Wolves a little bit plus a quarter. Um, I expect it to be low scoring. Look at the two head to heads last year: 0-0, 1-0. Um, it's tough. Again, this is a matchup. I think that you've kind of got to see some lineups though. Like, what are you really going to get from some of these squads? But Wolves, both teams to score has happened in their last six, which is pretty interesting. So they are scoring, but they are conceding. Five most recent, I kind of want to go back. Maybe, what a good one here would be, Jason? I think maybe first half draw. The last five Wolves matches on the road have seen a first half draw. Wolves, that's always been one of my favorite bets with Wolves over the last few years, kind of gotten away from it a little bit, but I just don't see a lot of difference between these two sides. I mean, are Bournemouth better than Wolves? Like, I think that the numbers are basically telling us that these two teams are pretty bang on even here, and so then I would lean Wolves, but this match probably doesn't get any of my money. But I think first half draw has some interest.
I like that angle that you brought up right there. You mentioned neither of these teams being able to keep a clean sheet. Yeah, it's only hit 17% of the time in each of these clubs' last six matches, so they're certainly conceding goals. The difference is, and the reason why I kind of like Wolves' money line, and you can find it at 2-1 on some sports books, is scoring. Here's a Wolves team that have scored in all of their last six, where Bournemouth hasn't scored in four of their last six. So we may be conceding both of these clubs, but a really big difference here on the offensive side. You mentioned that first half, and I know you know one of my bets already. I really like Wolves here in the first half. Bournemouth, so far this season, they have not led at halftime at all this entire season. And Wolves had failed only once to either redraw or win so far in the first half of their 8 Premier League games. I like Wolves as another parlay piece at minus 230 on the first half double chance, which is basically different than what you said because you like more the draw angle. I like Wolves at minus 230 on the first half double chance. Again, Bournemouth hasn't had a lead at all in all their first half in all their games. So give me Wolves early, and I also like Wolves on the money line at 2-1. They're just better offensively.
I like that. I agree with you on both of those. I think that they've just got the players. They've got the more creative players. Like the best player on this pitch is Pedro Neto. Mm-hmm. He's the guy that can create in this matchup. Like, who do Bournemouth rely on for their creative ability? It's hard. It's hard to say. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I definitely like a little bit of Wolves here. I definitely lean Wolves plus a quarter. Like your first half draw, I might have to, or first half double chance. I might need to be on that too.
Yeah, that's a good parlay piece. All right, let's move over now to Brentford and Burnley. This one here, I think you could see each team probably find the back of the net. The last six, neither club has been able to keep a clean sheet. Brentford has the fourth worst home expected goals allowed in the Premier League at 1.67. Burnley's has 3 away fixtures. They've been able to score in 2 of those 3 away fixtures, and they didn't keep a clean sheet anytime they were on the road. And Brentford's had 4 home matches, and everybody has scored in all 4 of those home matches. I kind of just like both teams to score at minus 120 and really don't care who wins this match. I just think both teams at some point over 90 minutes will find the back of the net.
Yeah. No real issue with that because I think that Burnley create. I think that they're going to have a couple nice looks here. Brentford have been really tough here at home. But yeah, this one I would be just kind of leaning with what you're going with here on the both teams to score because it's a tricky match and not one that I'm overly interested in. And generally, like this card, I'm going to be kind of just staying away a little bit more on this one and kind of probably firing back next week.
I mean, this is our third year together. I think, not saying people expected that from you, but you've been like this coming out of an international break. You've kind of been taking it easy. So yeah, it's a
Yeah,
little bit of to be expected, but we still love the analysis, and people love cooking up
sure.
parlays with our leans and analysis. So, all right, what's going on at the Etihad between Manchester City and Brighton?
Well, I think I think the international break was a good thing for City. You look at their most recent results, kind of struggling a bit. They did get the win in the same fixture last season, 3-1 at the Etihad. But yeah, I mean, look, they lost three of four. It was 1-1 with Leipzig in the 80th minute. They almost didn't win that one. So that result, the 3-1 kind of doesn't show the true story of that match. It was tighter. Um, I think that they were hard done against Arsenal. That match really sucked, didn't it? Like
Mm-hmm.
there was like not a lot of like creation. That was a stone cold under, and I just think that the break came at a perfect time for them, and they get back here. They're at home. Um, they're good there. And Brighton, yeah, they played well. They played better against Liverpool, but I think that Liverpool deserved more from that match. And that was at Brighton. This one's at City. Give me City on the money line to complete my two-team parlay. Kind of going back to the well. I think the teams that are very complete in this league. Give me Liverpool. Give me City -110. Sign me up.
Oh, that's your -110 for the parlay. Oh yeah, that'd be a great two-legger. I like that one a lot. Um, and obviously you get a boost. International break or not, City's form was stumbling because they didn't have Rodri. I mean, you can't mention that poor form without mentioning it also coincide with his 3-game suspension. There's no, I mean, there is a coincidence there, 100%. Matt, I'm going to go back to last season. I remember sitting here and we're here with you. We talked about this head to head, and we were like, man, this game has like an over 2.5 written all over it. But then sometimes when I like an over 2.5, I like to take the first half over, which is what I did in this fixture last season, and that ended 1-1 with both of those goals coming in the first half. And the reason why I like that is sometimes you can come out with some different tactics that maybe you haven't put on on film, and you can catch an opponent off guard, and then they can adjust at halftime and goals dry up. That's what happened in the last time they played out. It worked out to my analysis perfect. You can get this first half over 1.5 at even money over at Caesars, and that's a bet that I'm going to go ahead and lock in. Is I'm going City Brighton first half over 1.5 at even money. Both of these offenses rank in the top 5 of season long of XG created. Brighton's actually second in the Premier League of XG created. Both offenses rank in the top 3 overall per match. 1.95 for Brighton, 1.79 for Man City. And while City, appears weaker on defense, they still have conceded, or they have the best XG conceded in the Premier League. So, and that'll obviously get a bump a little bit with Rodri back, but with how, De Zerbi sets them up, it doesn't really concern me because they are kind of giving up goals. City's games average 1.25 goals in the first half. Brighton's at 1.63 goals in the first half. This one's going to be fireworks like it always is when these clubs hook up. I'm going for that first half over 1.5 at even money. And I like this because both can contribute. City can hit this on their own, and Brighton can hit this on their own. I don't need maybe both of them. I don't, some bets you're like, I kind of need both teams to contribute. I really need both teams to contribute because both of them are outstanding in their own right.
Yeah. No, I like that look. And I totally agree too of like the first half angle as well, just because one, I mean, you can get goals from either one of these teams. We both know that their offenses are elite here. But I agree in the sense of like sometimes City, like if let's say like they're up 2-0 or something at halftime, like they like to shut up shop and control matches in the second
Yes.
half. And generally you do see a lot of goals dry up for City matches in that way. So I think it's a nice angle to attack in the first half.
All right, let's head over to St. James Park, Newcastle and Crystal Palace. This is one where if you just kind of close your eyes, Crystal Palace, Newcastle. I'm taking Newcastle on the money line. They're probably going to score 3 or 4 goals. It's at James Park. It's always rocking at St. James Park, high energy. And then I look up the head-to-head and I go, whoa. Since 2016, they've played 14 times with 13 under 2.5s cashing. Like, that's not by accident, folks, when you have that much of a head-to-head trend. Since 2016, you've got 5 Newcastle wins, 3 Palace wins, and 6 draws. That leads me to another low-scoring, tight affair, folks.
Yep. Yeah, this is going to be my second bet of the week. I'm going under 2.5 here at plus 100. Kind of just in disagreement. I think that the shading is wrong. I think that the under 2.5 should be the minus 130. And I think that the over 2.5 should be the plus 100. So I do think that there's some value on this under, not just because of the head-to-heads, but stylistically how these teams like to play. We know that Palace's defense is very, very good. Roy Hodgson sets up this team well, coming off of international break. Hopefully it's a little bit of a snooze fest here, and interesting to see what will happen with Tonali with the betting and the gambling kind of scandal thing. That would really hurt Newcastle if he's out for many months because of that. I just think that Palace will likely lose this match, but it'll be close, and I think that we can see. Hopefully we have 0-0 for a little while, because that's kind of how I see this one. I see it being 0-0 for quite some time. Maybe Isak does something in the middle of the match, but Palace are the perfect under team. Their offense sucks. Their defense is good, and that they're just the perfect formula to be on an under, really. So hopefully Newcastle just doesn't get going, too much here at home, because we know how tough they have been, and they have lit up some teams. So yeah, trusting in Roy Hodgson and the boys just to keep this one tight.
Yeah, this one really makes you, are you gonna kind of go with maybe some season numbers, or are you gonna, go with this head to head? I'll tell you here on season long numbers, XG at home, Newcastle's 4th best at 1.99. Damn near averaging 2 expected goals per game. You look at what Palace does on the road in terms of XG conceded, and they've got the 6th best in the Premier League at 1.32. You mentioned Palace and maybe their lack of goal scoring. It's 12th best, so middle of the pack. But to be fair, that's kind of where they finish in the table. They're always kind of around 12 through 14 in the table. And their XG is right there in line with number 12 on the road at 1.31. And then you look at Newcastle, XG allowed at home, and it's 4th best in the Premier League at 1.1. If you like Newcastle, I do believe Newcastle squeaks it out. I like your angle of under 2.5. Perhaps this is one of those weeks where you do Newcastle parlayed with under 3.5. You've got your play at even money. Newcastle parlayed with under 3.5 is at plus 110. So I think Newcastle can pull this one out. But the head-to-head since 2016 this is not going to be an easy one, even though they are Champion League caliber team, and obviously Palace is bottom 10 every year. It's a tough one. Yeah. It's a tough one. I looked at those head-to-head stats, and when I saw 13 of 14 under 2.5, it's like, how's this at plus money? Kind of sign me up. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on now to Forest taking on Luton. How do you see this one, Matt?
I considered Forest as a parlay leg. Like, I think that they're fair. I see no reason really to get off the Luton train here. So this is one that I could definitely see myself. I haven't pulled the trigger on this one yet, but I could see myself getting there, like a Forest and over 1.5. I could see Forest and under 4.5. Like, that's the one that that's the piece that I've got to figure out which one. Which one would you rather have, Jason? You know what I mean? Would you rather be over 1.5 or under 4.5 here? Because I think that Forest are worthy, not just because, they've always been a very solid home team. They do score goals. But again, it's just another Luton fade.
Yeah, it's another Luton fade. Look, they've got the 2nd worst XG allowed when they go on the road at 2.1. Guys are just creating so many chances. We know, you just said it right there, Forest at home. It's kind of when you want to back them, although this campaign, they're also a little bit brighter on the road. They're going to be great here. I'm on their team total at minus 120 over at Caesars at over 1.5. And exactly what you said. This is the full-on Luton fade. All the numbers suggest what you see with your eyes, that they get dominated when they go on the road. Yeah, sign me up for Forest team total over 1.5, minus 120 at Caesars. Don't anything next. All right, we got Israel in the chat. He's a Chelsea supporter, so keep that in mind. Maybe don't be so hard on him here, Matt. But we got to go over to Stamford Bridge now. We got Chelsea taking on Arsenal. What do you see here?
Tough match to predict, isn't it? Like just with Chelsea's their recent form, we know that Chelsea have won the XG battle in every single matchup. You know, you can kind of see goals, but you can also see a tight, top six clash here of unders. Um, you know, really just not one that I want to be betting. I don't have a good feel for this one whatsoever coming off the break. I would strongly lean under though.
You lean under right here. This is one, Matt, where if I'd have break, if this one would have came like a month ago, obviously it would have been like, oh, well, just sign me up for Arsenal. But I've actually cashed Chelsea's last two money lines, waited for lineups to come out. Well, the first one I waited for lineups to come out when they played against Fulham. And other than Mudryk, I was like, I like this lineup. Like, I'm going to take a chance against Fulham, and I got to cash. I was able to predict what was going to happen against Burnley's lineup, so I got a great price, cashed it nice and easily. Pochettino, to me, has gone two straight games. He did make one switch. He switched out Sterling for Mudryk, but other than that, it was the same lineup. He's settled on that starting 11, and this is a great starting 11. So I like this here for Chelsea. But I do like your underlean here. Look, these are two of the three top teams in the Premier League of season-long XG conceded. Chelsea is third best at 8.64 overall in the entire season, as Arsenal is sixth best at 6.55. Whenever I like an under, I think it's kind of a coin flip of who's going to win. This one's obviously at Stamford Bridge. I think Pochettino's got the starting 11 right. I'm just going to go with the under 2.5, just like you bet it, and you can get it at minus 107 on Bet Rivers. Not going to try to predict a winner, but I do like the under. Two really good defenses with Casillero and Enzo. That's been a great partnership the last couple of games. This game's staying under 2.5 goals. Book it.
Yeah, I totally am in agreement with you.
But it's crazy though how like a month ago you would have just gravitated towards Arsenal money line, wouldn't you? Like a month ago when Chelsea was still trying to figure out what the hell was going on.
For sure, I think that Chelsea are a lot more competitive. I just saw Reece James is back into training. I mean, Chelsea. I think that Jason, you really did nicely on picking Chelsea the last couple matches. We talked about it on the show. It was the perfect buy low spot on these guys, and I think that Chelsea are like, are they kind of being overlooked a little bit? Aren't they maybe clicking better than like what the public and the media is like portraying them?
They're going on a run.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to win this one, but I do think it's really tight, and I think it's similar to like the Man City Arsenal match, really. Just tight. I mean, and we know top six clashes too. I mean, they just cancel each other out. I do like this under.
Yeah, and then also in terms of the starting 11, I think you're going to get the Burnley one with Sterling in there. Sterling's obviously, I think, playing really well. He also plays well when he gets snubbed by England. Have you noticed that? Like, go back to his time at City. When he doesn't get picked by England, like, he turns it up. No big surprise. Yeah. He was really good against Burnley when he got snubbed by Southgate, and he had a nice game. Pochettino's going to do him over Mudryk. I feel like I know the lineups exactly. Give me the under 2.5. I love that you're in agreement on that one as well. So, all right, Israel, good luck to come in this. I think that one's on Saturday, if I recall. Saturday afternoon, lunchtime. So good luck, man. I think it'll be a good game, even though it'll be low scoring. But good luck, my man. All right, we got Sheffield United taking on Manchester United. What are we seeing here, Matt?
Really weird one. I mean, Sheffield are very much in that kind of Luton like fade category for me. They just haven't done it really all year. But United are being priced up. I mean, on the road, United minus 250. Like, that's not for me. I don't think that they're anyone that I would really want to gravitate towards. I can't remember. Did you put them in like a parlay or what?
Yeah, put them in a parlay. What the hell? They're one of the rare teams where their XG is difference, and XG is kind of the same thing as goal differential. Their XG difference is negative as Manchester United.
Wow. Oh. Wow. It didn't work for me the last time out, but he just scored again on the international break. Højlund. I really want to be with Højlund anytime. But I don't think he's on pens. I wish he was.
No, Bruno is. They like Bruno. Yeah. They like Bruno. I never remember you asked me one week because you were debating on playing Rashford. For whatever reason, Ten Hag likes Bruno. I like Rashford. I like some guy who can just step up and bang them in, and I love that. But he likes Bruno, so that's what he does.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that you can explain this match a little bit better. This one is again. I do want to watch this one. I need to get a better look at Sheffield, just in general, and see like what's going on. If I can just completely fade them for the next month or so.
You can. You got 22 more games to fade them before they go back down to the championship.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I always like to mention, we look at stats. I do like to point out when we are seeing more cards this campaign. We've talked about the rule changes. This is the best matchup for cards. Both of these two clubs rank in the top 10, and it's the only matchup on the fixture calendar this weekend, obviously, where both teams are in the top 10. So maybe there's that angle. Both of these clubs, the XG difference are in the negative. Sheffield is dead last in the Premier League of their XG difference. And in fact, Sheffield's expected goals allowed at home of 2.28 is dead last in the Premier League. Yeah, United's been struggling to figure out. You mentioned Højlund scoring there on the international break. They are clicking a little bit. At least Højlund is certainly clicking a little bit. Their one problem that they still do, and every time they do it, and the reason why United's not scoring, is they've been playing Bruno out on the right wing. He's the playmaker. He needs to be right under Højlund, on the ball so damn much, controlling the midfield and creating chances for him, Rashford, and then whatever right wing they want to do. For whatever reason, Mount's been the number 10 lately, and it's not clicking. Hopefully he can get it right. I think against Sheffield, it doesn't matter because they're really so bad. I did parlay that Wolves first half double chance with United team total over 1.5, and I got that at minus 104. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with that parlay. They should get it done. Sheffield's just... They just got awful. I mean, quite frankly, they're really bad. So, I like them. They'll get it done. They'll score a couple goals against Sheffield, and hopefully Bruno's the number 10, and they can get on a little bit of a roll from my own personal standpoint. All right, for whatever reason, there's only one fixture on Sunday. Not quite sure what happened here, but Villa and West Ham is the only match on Sunday. Matt, when I saw this fixture, I couldn't grab both teams to score in over 2.5. How many times have we sat here and talked about both teams to score over 2.5 in West Ham? It hits in the Premier League. It hits in the Europa Conference League or Europa League, whatever one of those they're playing in. Like, it is just hitting nonstop. I cannot get off of that bet. Give me a both teams to score in over 2.5. And in terms of the league, it's hitting 7 of 8 Premier League games for West Ham this season. The only game it didn't hit was that team we talked about, Sheffield. Yeah, they couldn't find the back of the net. Otherwise, it is a gold mine of a bet in the Premier League this season. Give it to me.
Yeah, wow! I can't believe both teams to score price at minus 200 in this one.
It's just hitting in every West Ham game. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I like it because I love Villa too. I think that they're just that perfect team that you want to be on overs with, and West Ham allowed 1+ in their last 8 road matches. Last 5 home matches for Villa over 2.5 has been seen. This looks pretty damn good. This is an interesting one. West Ham not suffered a defeat at halftime in their last 12 in all comps. Like, they're keeping it to like where they're at least like they're not losing going into the break. So would it take that for whatever it's worth? But yeah, I do like your both teams scoring over.
Okay. All right. Let's throw up our personal bets. I need to figure out which of these legs I'm going to dump in with for our between the post parlay, which we bounced back last week. We needed that good bounce back in our parlay. I hit Liverpool double chance against Brighton. They hit, and you hit Tottenham money line. You really had a tough one there against Luton. How much of a sweat did that end up being, Matt? Tottenham money line. Yeah, they still piss me off. They owe me so much money because I was on all their overs, the goals, everything. They owe me so much cash.
Yeah, that was a sweaty one.
All right, what bets do you want to go ahead and give out? And I'm going to figure out which one of these I want to parlay with something real quick and slap some cash on it.
Yeah, it's going to be Liverpool and City 2-teamer. Just that one's always done me pretty well. So I like that one. And I love the under 2.5 in Newcastle Palace. And I could see myself going under 2.5 in Chelsea Arsenal. So 2 locked in thus far. Probably will wait on lineups just to double check on Chelsea Arsenal.
So you want to double? I'm not questioning you by any stretch, but you also want to then put Manchester City in our parlay as well. You want to use that leg twice?
Yeah.
Oh man, he's all in on City. Okay, folks, Man City at the Etihad against Brighton. All right,
City will get the job done.
They're going to get the job done. Okay, I don't disagree. Just wanted to make sure. What do I? Man. I'm doing that over. I'm doing that over 2.5 in Liverpool, Everton as my leg, and I guess you said we're putting it in with City over 2.5, or I mean City money line. Sorry, let me grab that price for everybody. I'll just bet it when the show's over. All right, we're gonna roll with that at minus 103. So let me throw this up. Minus 103. Minus 103. I'm rolling with City, Everton over 2.5. All right, put all this up on the screen. While that runs, I don't waste my time making videos for nothing. Hold on. All right, taking a screenshot. I got a lot of bets, fellas. I am ready to crush the Premier League this weekend. All right, toss them up here. Pull them onto the screen. We'll run through these. Premier League is back, boys. I am fired up. All right, this is how I'm going to go ahead and roll. Give me Brentford, Burnley. Give me a little both teams to score. Minus 120. You find that over at PointsBet. Manchester City, Brighton, first half over 1.5 at even money is over at Caesars. Forest team total over 1.5 minus 120 is over at Caesars. Chelsea, Arsenal under. That's over on Bet Rivers at minus 107. The Villa, West Ham, both teams to score over 2.5. Minus 122 is at Bet Rivers. The Wolves, first half double chance. United team total, minus 104 is Bet Rivers. Bet Rivers and Caesars has by far the best soccer prices. By far. The Newcastle money line, under 3.5, plus 110. Bet Rivers as well. And then that parlay, minus 103. That one's also over at Bet Rivers. All right, that's how I'm rolling this week in the Premier League. Fired up. I know we did a Champions League show last match day. Are we getting Champions League next week?
I believe so. So.
Let me check that. I assume you're up for doing a show next week, right? Double dipping?
Yeah.
Let me just see let me go to Tuesday on the calendar. Yeah, Champions League. All right, let's try and do a Monday show. Monday show for the Champions League.
Heck yeah.
And then obviously for this Premier League, we'll come back on probably normal Thursday, but we'll figure all that out. All right, fellas. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Matt, enjoyed breaking down this weekend's games. Good luck in the Merseyside Derby. We'll catch you sometime next week.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.